Sorry, folks, this one's not going to be up to my usual quality because, you know, I left my camera and microphone and all that at the office, and I can't use it when it's not here. Oh, boy. We got to talk about the death of the internet. I am not kidding. I am unfortunately very serious. The death of the internet is upon us. Now, granted, the doomsday prediction is not 100%. But we have just seen, as of this recording, it's end of July 2025, and we've seen Britain enact their Online Safety Act that regulates what adults can do because children. But really, it's about control. Basically, over the course of less than a week, we have watched massive numbers of websites have to restrict content that is not just pornography, but content that is simply adult-oriented. So it doesn't have to be porn. It can be something as simple as a movie that deals with some more mature themes or anything like that. Normally what happens with regulation is if you run a company, you're going to do whatever it is that is the most paranoid because you don't know how things will work out in practice. And the last thing you need is for UK's extreme what was it? 10% of global revenue or an £18 million fine? Yeah, you're going to throw all the babies, like you're going to take all of the society, throw it out with the bathwater. It's gone. You're chucking it. That's what's going on in the UK now. So, in a couple weeks, we've seen Visa and MasterCard pressured by a small feminist group, which makes it kind of hard to believe that they're the reason, to then get Steam, the largest game marketplace on earth, and itch.io, the largest, I would say, independent game marketplace on earth, to completely chuck everything that's adult-oriented, to put it behind various walls, or whatever. They removed all kinds of content because it's adult. And this is extended beyond mere pornography, titillating games. It's games like Detroit Become Human. It's even, I think, if I recall correctly, I think even Life is Strange got hit. But anyway, the point is, there is an underlying feeling that this is more of a war on independent games than it is on actual, like, adult content. And I'm probably right about that, but it's even worse than that. It seems that I'm going to have to go full-blown conspiracy mode because we have the UK pass this Online Safety Act and now everything's clamped down. A few days after, they're now trying to pass a law requiring the same ID verification or an outright ban, from what I understand, on VPNs to get around the law because the law is that bad. But then, in the United States, for years we've had, and if you go back, there's 3 years ago, there's a mental outlaw video about it. The Kids Online Safety Act, COSA. Other countries are also following suit. Every country, for reasons that I honestly cannot directly explain, has decided to, right now, go on a massive censorship crunch. They are all trying to basically ban all of the okay, let me put it this way. Do you remember YouTube in 2006, 2008, 2010, and how the 2000s YouTube, this is really super edgy content? You had PewDiePie, he started playing video games, and he would say things like, I'm gonna rape you, and you had all this edgy stuff, all this really funny, experimental, just Wild West stuff. And then, by 2020, we had people not even allowed to question the 2020 election in the United States or a couple of other ones around the world, which is a weird thing for some video platform to go out of its way to specifically say, oh, you can't do that. You can't ask questions about a certain election. That's not allowed in the terms of service for this video platform. It's like, what? That's a really strange specific thing. And I thought it was strange at the time. You had the COVID lockdowns, you had all this stuff. So we've gone from the Wild West YouTube to the clamp down, oh, everything has to be family friendly, and now you have people using retarded words like unalive and corn instead of porn, and you get the idea. Just you have to use all these dumb words and euphemisms to get around the most basic censorship on YouTube. That's what's about to happen to the whole internet. So I made a video, and a lot of you probably know me from this video, where I said Windows 11 must be stopped. That video is correct. Windows 11 must be stopped. But Windows 11 is a joke compared to this. If it would cause everything that is going on right now with internet censorship to go away like that, I would run Windows 11 on all of my devices. That's how bad this is. The Windows 11 is nothing. The biggest complaint I have with Windows 11 at this point, especially because you can neuter it with things like using HWID whatever to activate Enterprise and all that. If you can get Windows 11 Enterprise, you're good to go. Most of that stuff can be shut off, but the problem is, I can't believe I'm talking about this. This is so stupid. But Windows 11 is nothing compared to the censorship we're facing. I mean, seriously, it's so bad. It's astonishingly bad. Do you not understand how bad it really is? Just, okay. So imagine you want to start a forum, and you want in this forum to discuss Shakespearean plays. Not my subject, but let's say you just want to discuss Shakespearean plays. Now, Shakespeare's plays are known for having a metric ton of euphemistic adult content, shall we say. Lots and lots of perverted jokes. Shakespeare, arguably, was the SpongeBob SquarePants of his day. That is not a joke. I am dead serious about that. Especially like A Midsummer Night's Dream. The whole thing's basically sex jokes. So let's say you want to have a forum where you discuss Shakespeare. You won't be able to let anybody get on that forum without submitting to a third-party ID service that checks the user's government IDs, which means now the ID service has a record which can be hacked into and or queried by governments, or even by private parties who happen to file a lawsuit and subpoena it. Now they have a record of who uses your site, and they have solid identifying documents. It's not just, oh, a username. There is no anonymity. They have everything. And it's hackable, and it's subpoena-able, and it's government walks up and says, give us all your records-able. It's basically worse than Nazi Germany. It is beyond the Jewish stars, because you know what? The stars they put on Jews and the little pink things for gays and all that in Nazi Germany, at least they could still exist in society and do business. They were oppressed, but they were still allowed to do things. This doesn't allow you to do things. If you want to start this forum where you discuss Shakespearean works, you have to censor. And that is based on the UK Act, but the one for the US isn't any better. Now, there is one big difference. The UK Act, the government mandates it. The US Act does, rather than the government saying, oh, do this or it's illegal, they say do this or other people are allowed to sue you if their kids get on your website. Kids existing should not be the barometer, should not be the test, should not be the scales by which we measure what adults are allowed to do. And that's all there is to it. The problem is not with adults, the problem is not with kids, the problem is with parents. Parents need to do their goddamn job. I'm a parent. I have kids. I have to do my goddamn job every single day. And part of that goddamn job is making sure that the kids over there use the internet, that they're doing things safely. I don't need Roblox to be like, oh, we need to scan the IDs or have you scan QR codes in real life. The kid's not allowed to take the computer to school, dipshit. The kid's not allowed to take the cell phone to school, dipshit. They can't scan QR codes in real life, dipshit. You can't do that because they're not allowed. My kids don't have phones. They don't go to school with phones, okay? They're not going to go to school with phones. The computers that they have, they're Chromebooks. They can't play Roblox on their stupid Chromebooks that are locked down from the school. That kind of stuff's not allowed. And if it was allowed, I'd have a major problem with it and raise a hell of a stink with the schools because they shouldn't be able to do that on school computers. In fact, I don't think they should have computers in the school at all, at least not individual personal computers. They should have a lab like they used to and only use computers when they have to. And guess what? It's real hard to access ChatGPT and get all the answers to all the stuff instead of having to use your brain, which is the whole point of going to school in the first place. If you can't go to to your cell phone or to your laptop and just get on the internet. Oh, it's okay. It passed through the filter because it's just, no big deal. Yeah, if they don't have the technology in their hand right there, they can't do it, dumbass. The problem is parents don't do their job, and the people who are in loco parentis, acting legally as the parent, schools and such, also don't do their job. Everybody who acts as a parent needs to do their damn job. But that is not the government's job. The government is not my parent, and the government is not my children's parent, and the government was not my parents' parents. The government should not have any place in parenting anyone. The only thing the government should do is make sure that the internet is a free and open platform for everybody to do everything. And then people can set up services, and if some service lets any old person just hop on it and look at porn, well, guess what? I'm a parent. You don't get a computer that can access the internet without severe restrictions, or you don't get a computer at all. Now you can't access it. Oh, okay, but what about the other parents? That's because the other parents are shit and they don't get to go over that house anymore. That's the end of that. But the bottom line is that this is the end of the internet. If we allow this stuff to continue to creep in, and we're already well on the way there. With the UK passing it, you can see exactly what's going to happen. It is an absolute unmitigated shit show over there. If we allow this stuff to pass, the Kids Online Safety Act in the US, or any other country for that matter, any other equivalent, if this gets too deeply entrenched, what happens is basically V for Vendetta. And in fact, in this video right now, if you are oppressed in the way that you are in V for Vendetta, you have the right to do the things that are done in V for Vendetta. So maybe you should get off your ass and stop complaining in your little house on your little keyboard and do something about it. In the US, where things are still arguably at least a little bit free, and voting kind of works, and complaining sort of works, maybe you should call your reps and tell them to not support the Kids Online Safety Act. Everywhere else, I don't know what you're supposed to do. You're more cucked than the United States, so I have no idea what to tell you. But there's a lot of changes that need to happen, and this is not one of them. We need to get rid of this crap. The internet is toast. Anyway, this does also play into the Windows 11 thing, because if you think about it, everything, if someone's building a jail around you, but it's far enough away or whatever, let's say people are building houses around you, and they build a house, and they build another house, and they build another house, and they're real close together. You can't walk between them. It's like, well, it's just my neighbors building houses, man. Whatever. There's like a whole wall of them over there, but it's no big deal. But as more and more houses are built, you might get more concerned. And the problem is that once all the houses are built, but there's just one opening between this ring of houses around you, how are you going to get out? How are you going to get out? You don't. You can't. What are you going to do? Nothing, because there's nothing you can do. And if they build that last house, you're in there forever. Welcome to the Panopticon. And that's where we are. And if you don't know what a Panopticon is, you should look it up. It's a very interesting concept. We're almost there. We've got like 10 out of 12 pillars or whatever. We've already got the 5 eyes, and most of those eyes are on 24/7, 365, and they know exactly what every fold of your anus looks like. Something has to be done. Now, I don't want to leave this video with nothing for you. I don't want to just be a doomsayer. One of the things that I would like to start working on is a software project for something that basically prevents anybody from being able to stop you from shuffling information in and out from other people. Think of it sort of like Tor, but not. I've thought about this for a very long time, probably the last 15 years. A peer-to-peer system that does not... Basically, you talk to other people near you, and you can't know who they talk to. Everything's encrypted between everyone. So if I talk to A or B or C, then I only know that I'm talking to A or B or C. I don't know who they talk to after that, including if they talk to other people I talk to. All I know is that if I need something and A thinks they can provide it, then they send it, and that's all I know. All I know is I'm talking to A. All the government knows is I'm talking to A, unless they can also monitor A's connections and see that A talks to whoever. You get the idea. It's something that I've thought about for a long time, but I think I have to actually start coding it because this is really bad. And it's worse than I thought things would get. And VPNs going the way of the dodo, basically being regulated away, it's going to mean that you don't have a choice. So let me know what you think about that. And I don't know if you can code in C. Are you willing to help? I may not get the new operating system idea off the ground, but by God, I'll get something that lets us communicate without being censorable. All right. Thanks for watching. Take care.